Hello and welcome back to my channel, Craft Time by Casey. I am Casey, and today this is the pendant necklace that I will be making. Most of the components came from the bargain bead box for the month of February 2023, and I am super excited with how this came out. I absolutely love this pendant, the focal pendant for this month's box. If you are interested in the bargain bead box, I will have all of the information in the description box below. I encourage you to go check them out, and if you do, you definitely want to use my code. That code is Casey2. That's KASI2. That code will get you $2 off your first month subscription or $2 off your first order from their website. So if you would like to see how this pendant necklace came about, then stay tuned. All right, let's get right into it. I'm going to start with what tools I will be using. I have 2 sets of chain nose pliers, 1 set of round nose pliers, and 1 set of cutters, also 1 set of crimping pliers. And I want to briefly mention my tool set. It is the Casual Comfort tool set, and as the name suggests, these are the most comfortable tools that I have found. They are very high quality, very well made, and one of the biggest things for me is that they have adult size grips. A lot of times, for whatever reason, in the stores or online, the tools that you see for jewelry making are like this. They're made just a little bit smaller, and they certainly work. However, for me, once I found these tools, I just can't see using anything else. So I will have these tools linked down below, along with everything else I use that did not come from the bead box. I am using 49 strand bead along wire in the color Bright. I always get the 100 feet just because I go through it so quickly. And of course that is the silver color. So I will also link below the opening video that I did for this month's bargain bead box, and it will have a whole lot of detail about every single bead that came in this month's box. But this will be the star of this particular necklace. I am using the focal pendant that came in the box. And for my own stash, I'll be using 3mm spacer beads and all of the findings, the crimp tubes, crimp covers, jump rings, lobster clasp, and I will be using this chandelier connector. So I have already cut a piece of wire, and it is approximately 9 inches. So here is how I start each strand. I'm going to put on a crimp tube, jump ring, and wire guardian. I'm going to put it through one side and wrap it around and put it back through the other end. You want to make sure your jump ring is up in that wire guardian, and I'm going to pinch it closed with my fingers and then put both ends of the wire through that crimp tube. And I'm going to pull on the long end just to make that tail a little shorter. And now I want to make sure those wires are separated just like that, so they are not crossed under that crimp tube. And I'm going to take my crimping pliers and go in that second groove and then give it a good smash. That gives it that taco shape. Then you want to turn it on its side, go into that first groove, give it another smash, and that gets it pretty good. But I'm going to go in with that flat part on the end and give it the final smash. And that gets it nice and snug. So now I'm going to hold it by that jump ring, take that crimp cover, and put it right over that smashed crimp tube. Then flip it up, go in with my chain nose pliers and give it a gentle smash. Then go front to back. Make sure you get that round shape. And that is how I start each strand. So now it's just the order of the beads. So I'll be using these bead caps that came in the box. Bead cap facing up, 10mm round, bead cap facing down, 3mm spacer. So now I'm going to go to this bottom part and tuck that tail in. All right, so now I'm going to do this one more time. All right, there we go. So now in between these two and the next two, I'm going to add one of these dragonfly spacers. I want to make sure it's facing up that direction like this. So you want to put it on tail first. And the next two, bead cap facing up, crackle bead, bead cap facing down, 3mm spacer, just like that. And then I'm gonna do this crackle part one more time. So there it is so far. And now the next part, we're gonna use one each from that beautiful rondelle mix that came in the bead box. I'm gonna start with the light purple. I'm gonna put a 3mm spacer in between each one. So now I'm gonna continue like that with the other two. All right, so there's the entire strand. So now I'll show you how I close it off. Put on a crimp tube, jump ring, wire guardian, put it through one side, wrap it around, put it through the other. Make sure you have that jump ring inside that wire guardian, and I'm going to pinch it closed with my fingers, and then make sure both sides of that wire are inside that crimp tube. So now I'm going to put the end of that wire through the first couple of beads. All right, so now you want to make sure you have a balance, because you want to make sure your strand has some flexibility, but you also want it to be snug. So you want to pull that tail so it's nice and snug, but it still has some flexibility. So now I'm going to go in with my crimping pliers into that second divot, give it a good smash, get that taco shape. I'm going to turn it on its side, go in with my pliers into that first divot, give it another smash, and once again, that's pretty good, but I'm going to go in with the flat part at the end of my crimping pliers and give it the final smash, just like that. So now it's nice and secure. I'm going to hold it by that jump ring, take that crimp cover, and put it right on top of that smashed crimp tube, just like that. And then flip it up. I'm going to go in with my chain nose pliers, give it a gentle smash, and then I'm going to go front to back, give it the round shape, just like that. And I like how they all look like the same bead, all the way up through the crimp cover. So now I'm going to take that tail, get as close as I can with my cutters, and then go in there and poke that little tail into the next bead, just like that. So here is the simple strand. So now we're going to need one more just like this. So here we go. I have two of them right here. And before we start putting everything together, I have one more component that we need to make. I'm using one of the eye pins that came in the bead box. So I'm going to put these three in the same order that they are in this strand. I have a 3mm spacer, light purple, and then we're going to put a bead cap around the center bead. So bead cap facing up, dark purple, bead cap facing down, clear, and then spacer. So there is the component. So now I want the loops to be facing the same way. So I'm going to put this up and down on my finger right here and hang on to it with my fingers. Now I'm going to go in with my round nose pliers just above that top bead and then bend it. Then bend it back with my fingers. I'm going to go in with my cutters. You have the beginning of a very nice loop. And now I'm going to go back in with my round nose pliers and roll it closed, just like that. All right, so now we can put everything together. I am using the chain that came in the bead box, and I have two lengths of chain that are right at 4.5 inches. Two lengths of chain. Now this beautiful pendant came with a bail. However, I am not using the bail that came with it. So I'm going to take this off. There we go. And I'm going to have this chandelier pendant like this connected just like that with this on either side. So let's put it together. I'm going to start by connecting the chandelier with this component. Take a 6mm jump ring, open it, and connect the pendant to the component and close it. So now I'm going to use the jump rings that are already on the strand. And you want to make sure the strands are both facing the same way. So I want the end with the dark purple. Open it. I'm going to connect it to one end of that chandelier just like that. Close it. And I'm going to connect the other one the same way, just like that. So now I'm going to connect this pendant to the bottom. Open another jump ring, connect it to the pendant, and connect it to the bottom of that chandelier. And close that jump ring. There it is. So now we're going to connect the chain, and I'm going to use the jump ring that's already on the strand. Open it, connect it to the last link in that chain, close it, take another jump ring, connect it to the opposite last link, and then connect it to a lobster clasp. Just like that. Now we're going to do the same thing with the chain on the other side, except we're going to end with a jump ring instead of a lobster clasp. All right, so there we have it. Now we're going to connect it. And there it is. So I'm going to set this up on my display so we can see it better. All right, so here it is, and I just absolutely love it. I am super excited. This pendant is beautiful on its own, and I didn't want to mess with it. I didn't want to do anything to it. I love that bar going across it. I just think it's absolutely beautiful. And I wanted to make a relatively simple necklace to go with it. I love that one chandelier in the center. I think that adds a little bit to the design. And of course, those dragonfly spacers, just that little pop of decoration really stands out. I absolutely love the simplicity of this necklace. It is just still beautiful to me. So once again, if you are interested in the bargain bead box, make sure you check out the link in my description. And if you go to their website, make sure you use my code. That code is KASI2. That's KASI 2. And it will get you $2 off your first month subscription or $2 off your first order from their website. So if you like this video and you want to see other videos like this, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below and give me a like. Leave a comment. I absolutely love reading my comments. You guys are so kind, and I definitely look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye.